Title: Saudi Arabia and Israel Between Silence and Strategy. Introduction. In the heart of the Middle East lies one of the most complex and sensitive geopolitical questions of our time. Why has Saudi Arabia not officially recognized Israel? For decades, the relationship between Saudi Arabia and Israel has been defined not by open conflict, but by distance, silence, and cautious diplomacy. Yet behind the scenes, shifting alliances, global pressure, and regional threats have slowly begun to reshape this dynamic. This is a story of politics, religion, strategy, and the future of the Middle East. Chapter 1: A History of Non-Recognition. Since the creation of Israel in 1948, Saudi Arabia has refused to recognize it as a state. This stance is deeply rooted in the Arab-Israeli conflict and the displacement of Palestinians during the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Saudi Arabia positioned itself as a leading voice in the Muslim world, strongly supporting the Palestinian cause. For Riyadh, recognizing Israel without a fair resolution for Palestinians would mean abandoning a core principle of its foreign policy. Chapter 2: The Palestinian Condition. At the center of Saudi Arabia's position lies Palestine. Saudi leadership has consistently maintained that normalization with Israel depends on the establishment of an independent Palestinian state, with East Jerusalem as its capital. This vision aligns with the Arab Peace Initiative proposed in 2002. Without progress on Palestinian statehood, Saudi Arabia has been unwilling to take the final step toward recognition. Chapter 3: Changing Regional Dynamics. In recent years, the Middle East has undergone significant changes. Countries like United Arab Emirates and Bahrain normalized relations with Israel under the Abraham Accords. These agreements signaled a shift. National interests, security concerns, and economic opportunities began to outweigh long-standing political taboos. Saudi Arabia did not join, but it did not oppose the agreements either. Chapter 4: Quiet Cooperation. Despite the absence of formal ties, reports suggest that Saudi Arabia and Israel have engaged in quiet, indirect cooperation. Both countries share concerns about regional threats, particularly from Iran. This shared strategic interest has opened doors for intelligence coordination and diplomatic backchannels. Additionally, Saudi Arabia has allowed Israeli commercial flights to use its airspace, a small but significant step toward normalization. Chapter 5: The Role of the United States. The United States has played a central role in attempting to bring Saudi Arabia and Israel closer together. Washington sees normalization as a way to stabilize the region, counter Iran, and strengthen alliances. Talks have included discussions on security guarantees for Saudi Arabia, civilian nuclear cooperation, and economic partnerships. However, these negotiations remain complex and sensitive. Chapter 6: Public Opinion and Religious Influence. Saudi Arabia is home to Islam's two holiest cities, Mecca and Medina. This gives the kingdom a unique religious responsibility. Public opinion within Saudi society, as well as across the wider Muslim world, remains strongly supportive of Palestine. Any move toward recognizing Israel without clear gains for Palestinians could trigger backlash. This internal factor is one of the biggest constraints on Saudi decision-making. Chapter 7: The Future. A Matter of Time. Will Saudi Arabia recognize Israel? The answer is not simple. On one hand, strategic interests, economic opportunities, and global pressure are pushing toward normalization. On the other, historical commitments, religious identity, and the unresolved Palestinian issue continue to hold Saudi Arabia back. The future may depend on one key question: can a political solution for Palestine be achieved? Conclusion: the relationship between Saudi Arabia and Israel is not defined by war, but by waiting. Waiting for the right moment, waiting for the right conditions, and perhaps waiting for history to catch up with reality. Until then, the silence between Riyadh and Tel Aviv speaks louder than words.